Okay, massive breaking news. Shocking report coming out to start the weekend. The Memphis Grizzlies have announced they have fired their head coach Taylor Jenkins after 6 seasons. And after a 44-29 record, the organization said they want to go in another direction. What is going on? Why did this happen? Do you agree or disagree with this or not? We're going to break it all down, including some shocking details from Shams about the firing. What's going on, everybody? Jared Alatorre with a massive breaking news update here for Grizzlies Digest. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another upload from us. This is huge. The Grizzlies have announced they have fired their head coach, Taylor Jenkins. After 6 seasons, he was known for building what I call the core four: John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, Brendan Clark, and the organization felt they wanted to go another direction for these last 9 games, including the playoffs. And for the Grizzlies, they have a tough stretch going into the playoffs. Again, they've been consistent as usually the number 2-3 seed in the West. Personally, I think it all fell apart once we saw the Grizzlies fall to the New York Knicks at home and then fall the next day to the San Antonio Spurs, a very undermanned Spurs team. Personally, I think that's when this all started. So if you're going to ask, well, when do you think that they were maybe looking in toward another direction, just because of the momentum, the vibe that clearly started to shift? I think it all started that weekend. So about, give or take, a month ago, whenever that happened. But this is huge. Obviously, Shams coming out with the tweet simply saying this: the Memphis Grizzlies have parted ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins. And then it's just shocking to see, because we've seen in-season coaching moves before from great teams. Obviously, we saw it with the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 2016, with Tyronn Lue taking over for that team, winning the championship, coming back down 3-1 in the NBA Finals against the Warriors. But we've rarely ever seen a move this huge this late into the regular season. So obviously a change in the future is coming for the Grizzlies. This is not just to do with the coaching staff. I think this is going to have to do with plenty of offseason moves that they're trying to make. They've been wiggling around with a lot of great pieces, I think. I think the Grizzlies are, when healthy, they're one of the deepest teams in the NBA, and they've proven that time and time again this season. And Grizzlies, they started out hot. They started out like, I think they started out as a team like no one can beat this team. And I don't really feel that way anymore, just simply because of one of the reasons I think some of you Grizzly fans have been thinking too. They're not getting the key wins against great opponents. They're not getting them against the Denvers or the New York Knicks or the LA Lakers, or even the Bostons out there. This is a top 10 offense and defense this season still, apparently. I'm still surprised that they're on that list. But with the way the Grizzlies have been kind of scraping by the past month or so, I think that they felt as if this was a necessary move for them. As for me, in my opinion, I still got to kind of grasp and see how I feel about it, just simply because it's hot, it's off the press, it's breaking, and I still think I got to kind of process my mind into kind of how I feel about it. But here's another series of tweets from Shams. He goes, Taylor Jenkins was called into the Grizzlies office this morning and was fired in person, sources told ESPN. Stunning dismissal. Jenkins now becomes one of the top head coaching candidates for the upcoming cycle. He had a .539 winning percentage as Grizzlies coach. He was also the best coach in terms of wins in Grizzlies franchise history. So obviously big stuff here as we go back here. So obviously this is massive, and this is going to change the organization for not just this season, but for next season overall. The Grizzlies are going to be intensively searching for a head coach that can kind of build on these young pieces. Again, I think this is a young team that's built for the future. And a lot of people out there have been going, what's going on with Zach Edey? I mean, why is he only playing somewhere from 16 to 22 minutes? And maybe this is one of the reasons. I mean, was Taylor Jenkins not really utilizing Edey in the way that Grizzlies fans had hoped? I mean, this is a guy with raw talent. And again, I'm not saying this is just a Zach Edey issue. You know, I mean, it takes a lot for you to get dismissed as an NBA head coach. But were they utilizing Edey's minutes as well? We all know this guy has plenty of raw talent. He's 7'4", 300 pounds, a back-to-back college national player of the year, one of the most dominant specimens in college basketball history. His game, his raw game, has translated pretty well, in my opinion, toward the NBA. Are they looking for someone to build for Zach Edey, Jalen Wells, and of course, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane for the future? What do they do with the other older pieces? I don't want to say much older, but older pieces like Luke Kennard, Brendan Clark, obviously, unfortunate. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. I think there's going to be a lot of change going on with the Grizzlies in the next few months. I mean, this is not just the only one, folks. At least in my opinion, I don't think this is the only move that they're going to make. But going into what GM Zach Kleiman said, he goes, "I'm genuinely appreciative of Taylor's contributions to this team and the city over the past 6 seasons. This was a difficult decision given the consistent and tangible development of our players and overall success under Taylor's leadership. I wish Taylor the very best going forward." So that's GM Zach Kleiman, who ultimately, him and the ones up top that of course made this difficult decision. But the Grizzlies have a tough stretch, and they're number 5 in the West. I think they're flip-flopping with the Lakers, and I don't really think it matters. I mean, home court does matter, don't get me wrong. But as where it stands right now, I mean, we're in the hole that we're in right now, and we can't change the past. So are we just flip-flopping with the Lakers on that 5-4 seed? Obviously, you want that 4 seed. You want that home court advantage. But for the longest time, it felt like the Grizzlies were going to stay in that 2-3 range in the Western Conference. I even think at most points they could have ended up at number 2. But a lot changed since the All-Star break. And I'm not blaming Taylor Jenkins for the Laravia Smart trade, which I still don't really understand. But he's just dealt the groceries. He's just dealt the pieces that he gets. So what does this mean for the Grizzlies organization going forward? Your reaction to the trade, do you agree, disagree? What do you think is going to happen with Memphis going forward for the playoffs for next year? Obviously, this is huge. We're going to have a lot more coverage on this coming up later on. Leave a comment down below on, just let it out. What do you think? This is massive, and this is going to change the organization for years to come. Jared Alatorre for Grizzlies Digest. You can like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Of course, leave a comment down below just to air your thoughts out. This is a free space just to air anything you want to out. Obviously, keep it clean. No cursing. Please, just want to keep it clean. As passionate as we are, let's just, keep it passionate, keep it clean, keep it fun. That's going to do it for us today. We're going to have a lot more coverage on this later on. Jared Alatorre for Grizzlies Digest. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.